Hey guys, welcome back to another live discussions with Dr. D. I am excited as usual to be on here today, or this evening I should say. I have a wonderful guest. She's not really a guest for me. She's a sister for me. So for those that don't know who she is, which most of you all should know who she is, she is all over the place. In country and out of the country doing what she does. I have none other than Kristy Lady Quattlebaum with me this evening. And we are talking all things women because it's Women's History Month. And the topic or the theme that I have is called dream living. And this is one of the females that I believe is out here living her dreams. And see, she confirms. And she's going to share just some of the aspects of what dream living looks like for her. She is not only a makeup artist, she is a married woman. And she's a wifey and she's a mother. Hey, Amanda. And I want to talk today to, ladies from different backgrounds. Again, I come on, and although we're talking as adults, I always like to make sure that we're encouraging our young people as well. Right. So we're going to be talking through all those different dynamics of how she became a makeup artist and all of that good stuff. So we'll dive right in. Kristy, would you just give the people a little bit about like who you are, where did Lady K come from, and all that good stuff?
That's my husband.
Hey, Kevin!
Oh, excuse me. So, Lady K. Lady K is so many things, so many aspects. As a matter of fact, my name actually came from my husband's name that started off as his brand. He's Rev Kev 223 if y'all want to follow him. And so because I'm his wife, I'm his first lady. I'm his only lady.
Yeah.
So that's where the Lady K came from.
Awesome.
And my brand is actually called Lifted by Lady K. Awesome. And that's just meaning that I do more than just makeup. Makeup is not just makeup for me. Makeup is ministry. So when you sit in my chair, not only do I lift your facial beauty, but I lift your spirit. So I make sure that I'm pouring into women, that I'm loving on women, that I'm, just doing what God has me to do as I do makeup.
And she does it very well. Like,
Thank you.
Absolutely. I've been a recipient of being lifted by Lady K, and it is an amazing experience. Hey, Miss Brenda.
We love you, Miss Brenda.
We love you. So Lady K, I've met Lady K back in... long time ago. When she was a college student, she and Rev Kev both were college students, and I was actually working at the university, and they were just always just this bubble of inspiration, this bubble of just, just goodness. And you knew that when you hung out with them or when you sat in their chair that you were going to leave better off because they just exude just like this energy.
Well,
and so you're welcome. And so, Lady K, could you tell the people a little bit about what you were doing in college, prior to stepping into the role as a makeup artist?
Okay, so when I was in college, I actually went to school for elementary education. So it was just interesting because from the time I was young, I just knew I was going to be a teacher. But it's just interesting because God will take you on a completely different path. And so I am an educator.
Yes,
I just happen to educate makeup instead of elementary school. And so even then, I was actually going through the motions of life. You're in college, you're supposed to excel, you're supposed to make sure your GPA stays up. And I was doing all of that. I knew that I wanted to be a teacher. I knew that I was going to graduate and go get my master's, get my EDS, get my EDD. I had everything planned out. And then I ended up getting pregnant with our oldest daughter right before my senior year. And I had been doing makeup I was doing my own makeup. My eyeshadow was horrible all the way up to my eyebrow. But we're not going to talk about that, okay? Don't go back and look at my old pictures because you will judge me. However, I never thought that doing makeup would be something that I would do full time. And then upon finishing school, God literally just turned everything. So when I got pregnant, and my husband tells his testimony all the time, so he doesn't mind me sharing. But when I got pregnant, he tried to get a job everywhere.
Wow.
And nobody would hire him.
Wow.
Nobody. And of course, it wasn't the fact that, he's this horrible man. It was just, that wasn't God's will.
Right.
So he ended up doing hair in Orangeburg. He started doing hair when he was younger, but when he moved to Orangeburg from DC, hey, Chantel, and thank you, love you.
Hey, Chantel.
So when he moved to Orangeburg, he didn't want anybody to know that he did hair, including me. So when I ended up getting pregnant, he pretty much had no other choice but to start doing hair. So he was doing that. Of course, it was making good money enough to support us and everything. Right. So then the makeup just kind of started growing itself. And then what he was doing, when he would do somebody's hair, he would say, my wife is going to do your, or at the time, my girlfriend's going to do your makeup today. And I was like, no, not.
Like, don't be putting me out there
right.
like that.
Like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing that. And so he saw something in me before I even saw it in myself. Wow. And to this day, I'm ever so grateful for him, because if it wasn't for him and God using him, so I wouldn't be where I am. So anyway, he would, throw me out there, throw me to the wolves. And this one instance, he was actually doing, hey,
Pastor Jackie!
We love you.
Love you.
Yes. Y'all, she's one of my celebrity amazing clients. She's amazing. Follow her right now.
And she's our pastor. She's great.
She's like the best pastor in the world. Okay. Anyway,
my earring came out, so y'all work with me.
Right.
Live. This is real live.
Real live. Okay.
Hey, Chandra.
Hey, honey. So thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
So he was doing hair for the Miss South Carolina State University pageant. Okay. And so his client did not have anybody to do her makeup. And he was like, my wife would do it for you. And I said,
go again.
No. And at the time, my kit consisted of my makeup.
Right.
Just mine. So she was, a few shades darker than me. And I'm just like, Lord, I trust you. So I went and I did it. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, you did that. I posted it on social media. Social media is amazing. Posted it on social media. And everybody was just like, oh my goodness, this is dope. So this was in March. By April and May, I was completely booked for prom season that year.
Wow.
And I was like, God, you're trying to do something here. I see you. I see you.
You think?
So, right. So, ended up, just taking clients. God actually took me through several stages, which there's a book coming out by Lady K. It's not just makeup, it's ministry. So y'all stay tuned for that.
All right, look at that.
Yeah, so of course, if I tell everything, we would be here for hours. But
love
you too, honey. If I told everything, we would be here for hours. But God took me through several situations where he literally just wanted me to trust him. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, Kevin being an entrepreneur, we needed one paycheck in the house. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm keeping a full-time job while Kevin does hair. And so the first time it was God's telling me, hey, just trust me. And I was like, no, because, I'm still trying to handle everything myself.
Hey, Tiara.
And then, hey. So then a second time, it was okay. And this time it got a little bit more intense. God was just saying, just trust me.
Okay.
And I was like, no, because I still feel like I have some power and I'm a control freak. And I'm going to keep a 9-to-5 to make sure we have a paycheck coming in.
All right.
Yeah. So then by this time, God is continually using my husband to make sure that I'm going in the path that he wants me to. So then finally, what? I was just like, I surrender. I started singing the hymn, I surrender all.
Yes.
Okay, you have no other choice but to surrender. And what that taught me was, once you relinquish control and let God take over,
absolutely,
he will blow your mind. And when I tell you, from the moment I've said yes, it's just been one yes after another one, and then another blessing. So every time I say yes, tons of blessings follow that. So I've kind of gotten now, it's okay, all I got to do is say yes. And sometimes that yes is hard.
It is very hard.
Lord, it's hard.
It's not easy.
Because
say that.
And being two entrepreneurs in the house, I promise you, you have no other choice but to trust God.
Absolutely.
And that's what we've been doing. And for almost 5 years, this November will be 5 years that we've been here at Personalities Hair Studio.
Wow. Going
strong. And God has been amazing.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And she is definitely one that will empower her. That's an amazing, amazing testimony. What I love about what she said amongst all of that is the fact that you started out just the power of your yes. Look.
Oh!
Yes, BJ. And you said that you didn't start off all the way at the top. You were saying how your eyeshadow was, just doing its own thing. But you stayed the course.
I did. Yes.
You didn't give up because it wasn't good at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people, whether it's makeup, whether it's, starting your own business in any area, a lot of people tend to give up because it doesn't look like somebody else's highlight reel.
Right.
Your start doesn't look like somebody else's finish.
And it won't.
And it won't, because that's the whole point of it being a start. Right. And that's one of the things that I knew about her from early on. And she's one of the reasons why I believe God placed her in my heart to share her amazing story, especially for young women who are entrepreneurs out there, because Kristy carries herself at a very mature level. But I want you to tell the people, like, when did this start for you? Like, what age were you when all of this really started?
When all of it really started, because I'm 33 now, so it started when I was probably about 25.
Okay.
Actually, probably even before that. 25 was when I first started saying yes.
Okay.
And then when I truly gave my yes was at 28. Okay. And so I know for me, even sometimes age will kind of get you.
Absolutely.
And it's like, well, everybody else is in their early 20s beating faces. But it's like, it's never too late. And that's even with whatever you want to do. So if you want to open a business and you're 45, go for it.
Go for it.
I know the lady that was on Black Panther. She was in her, 80s or 90s?
I think she, closer towards, I think 70, 80, somewhere in there. Yeah,
right.
Somewhere in there.
She always wanted to be an actress. And she never gave up. And look at her on Black Panther. Like, that's just living proof. If you just keep on, keeping at it. Even Taraji P. Henson gave her testimony about how people told her she was crazy to go to Hollywood. Like, she's too old. If you hadn't gotten it yet, you're not going to get it. And that's not true, because God doesn't look at age.
He sure does not.
Like, whenever what's for you is for you.
It's for you.
That's it. Period. Point blank.
And I love that. So you guys who are watching, like for real, take it in, but also share this with some young people, especially some young women who are, trying to find their way, trying to find, what it is that God wants them to do. One of the things that she continually says, it was God's direction. If it was up to her, she would be working a 9 to 5 like a lot of us, because we want to make sure that we have a constant paycheck coming in. Exactly, that security, which is really not security, because at the end of the day, that job could end.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day,
it's a false sense of security.
It's a false sense of security, and we've all been there. Yeah. And she encourages me, as an entrepreneur myself, to stay the course. So it's an amazing journey. So again, y'all saw the title. It was Makeup, Marriage, and Motherhood. So the next question I'm going to jump into is talking about marriage. Kristy has the amazing privilege of working with her amazing husband. And they both are the owners of Personality's hair studio. So Kristy, I want you to talk to the people about considering, sitting down with their spouses and look at the things that they could actually do together as a couple, and how you guys got started with that.
Well, people ask us all the time, how is it working with your spouse all day, every day? And my answer? Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Seriously. And when I say that, it's really God ordained. And that's what keeps us being able to do this thing that God wants us to do. We've been married for 7 years, and we've been together for 12 years. So we've been through, again, stay tuned for the book, because honey, it hadn't always been easy, but it's worth it.
All day.
Okay, we'll be here all night. Right. Okay, I promise you. And so even working together, it's not always easy, but it's always worth it. And actually, we were talking to a couple yesterday that they work together, and they were saying that if the two of you were just alike, it wouldn't work. And I was like, that's powerful. Very, very true, because Kevin and I sometimes have a tendency to have difference of opinions, but with growth and maturity and with God, we've learned to work through those differences. Absolutely. So sometimes you just agree to disagree. Yeah. Sometimes you just talk through it and get your spouse to, understand, this was my point of view, and I understand your point of view, but this is how I think it should go.
Absolutely.
And so we've been working together all day, every day for the past almost 5 years. And when I tell you, I love it. When it first started off, it was just a little shaky, because for men, sometimes they just put everything in a big basket. Okay. So he put coworker, wife, parenting, everything all into a big basket. Okay. Whereas we as women, we have a tendency to compartmentalize things. Yep. So when we would get home, he want to go in the room and, kind of be by himself. And I'm like, no, I want to cuddle. Right. And for him, it's like, honey, I've been with you all day.
All day long.
It's my me time, okay? And so for me, I was just like, no, because I've been with Rev Kev all day. I want to be with my hubby, Kevin, now. Through. Yeah, this is our intimate time. And so throughout our time of growth, we've learned how me time is super important. Shout out to Massage Envy for giving me time. Yes. Shout out to Move Fitness for giving me time. Just different things like that to make sure that we do. Shout out to Sparkle Nails for giving me time, and just different things that we do to make sure that we, rejuvenate ourselves.
Right.
He has been amazing in understanding my point of view.
That's good.
So when we get home, he still gives his full attention to the girls and I, because he understands, like, yes, we've been working together all day, but that was work.
Yeah.
So now it's family time. So it's been important to understand the compartmentalization. And a lot of couples have these hidden talents that they know nothing about. That can potentially turn into big money and can turn into ministry for other couples. I honestly feel like everything we do is ministry.
Yeah, literally.
Like, seriously. Yeah. And I know it probably sounds a little cliche or a little churchy, whatever, but that's true. Even when women sit in Kevin's chair, because he went to school for social work. So he's a social worker, he's a minister, he's a counselor, all of that. The same as with me. So even our union has ministered to a lot of other couples. And so even if you are doing something with your spouse and you feel like, well, it's not really a business, it's just something we do for fun, pray about that thing, take it to the Lord, because I promise you it could be another stream of income to help you further to become a millionaire. Okay?
That is so good. And I love the fact that you talked about, like, really digging in. Most of the time, our wealth is right in our homes. It's right in our homes.
Right in your face.
Right in your face. And as women, oftentimes, you know, we get that boost. Men are focused mainly on providing, which is why Kevin was trying to get the jobs, because, you know, y'all were expecting different things. But of course, he was forced into what God called him to do.
Absolutely.
But I would say husband and wives definitely sit down together. My husband and I, we definitely share a business. Dr. D Unlimited is actually a subsidiary of M7, which is my husband's business.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So
I learned something new today about my sis. Okay.
So, you know, really sitting down. And then, of course, he has the counseling piece. I have the education piece.
Right.
This is a way that we offer the services to our families. So, I mean, that's what you really need to look into what you have together as husbands and wives. And that's why the marriage piece was really important, I believe, for sharing. Hey, Crystal. So it's a very important piece. And I love the fact that you talked about your journey of how, you know, be aware that when you are considering working with your spouse, that it is a challenge. It could be a developmental thing. Like she said, this didn't happen the first year.
You can't give up.
You can't give up.
Like in everything, I don't know if you guys are getting the message in what Dr. D is saying, but perseverance is everything.
Hey, Vikel, love you too, baby.
Hey. And even with that, don't feel like, oh, Lord, we're headed toward divorce just because you have a miscommunication when it comes to business.
Right.
Or don't feel like, you know, well, maybe we just shouldn't work together because I don't like you enough to work together. No, you go to God in prayer. And if he gave you the vision, he's going to make provision.
Absolutely.
So it's going to happen.
It's going to happen for you. I just challenge you guys, especially, again, if you're married, y'all talk about this. You know, it's Women's History Month, but what I've noticed about my lives is that I've had men commenting. I've had men share it. Wow. So, because these men are married to these women, even though it's Women's History Month, they're married to these daughters and these wives. Like, they're the ones that have to live with them. So it's important for them to see how we're empowering, you know, their wives to grow and be better. So again, share this information because, again, you may be wondering where your next is coming from, and it's right in front of you.
Right in front of you.
And so thank you so much for sharing that story.
Absolutely.
So one of the other things that Kristy does, amongst the million things that she does, is she's a mommy. Yes. And she's a great mommy. Hey, Kristy, thank you for watching. She's a wonderful mommy.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I watch people, you know, how they raise their children, especially, you know, entrepreneurs and those that are movers and shakers. Like, how are your children doing? Because that lets me know how everything else is doing, because that's the greatest ministry. That's the greatest assignment, like what you do in your home. Hey, Marsha. So with being a mom, your wife to, like I said, your husband, who's also your coworker. You travel, both of you guys travel very often. You are a celebrity makeup artist because you touch so many people from different walks of life. Like, how do you balance that with helping your girls understand, you know, that importance of mommy-daughter time or daddy-daughter time or family time? Like, what do you guys do to keep that balance?
Well, regardless of how tired we are, our children always come first.
That's good.
And that was something even this past weekend. It was interesting because Kevin and I had just been super busy. Ever since we came back from vacation, thank you so much, clients. We love y'all so much. Like, we appreciate you, but we've been swamped in here. Thank you, praise the Lord, though. We thank God. And so we were super exhausted, but we realized that we hadn't done anything fun, with the girls, since we came back. And when I say fun, I mean going out and making sure that they're the focal point of what we're doing. It's intentional, yeah. And so we made sure that our Saturday evening was committed to just Kirsten and Kylie.
Awesome.
And my children are so, and Lord, I'm so grateful for them, but they appreciate the small things.
That's good.
And so even, us going out to eat, things like that, they do appreciate, but we like to, do other things sometimes just to show them that we appreciate you guys for understanding the call in our lives, because we are busy a lot.
Absolutely.
And just making sure that we keep communication with them, because we want to know how they're feeling, how,
That's good. That's really
I was
good.
reading something, I think it was yesterday, that we're saying the top 3, it was like 3 minutes of a child's life that's so important. And it's the first 3 minutes when they wake up, the first 3 minutes when you pick them up from school, and then the last 3 minutes before they go to sleep.
I hope you guys are getting that.
Yes, I'm going to say that again.
Yes.
So 3 important 3 minutes for a child's life are the first 3 minutes that they wake up, the first 3 minutes after you pick them up from school, and then the last 3 minutes before they go to bed. And when I tell you, that thing just really touched me, because I make sure even in the mornings, and hey sis, I tell my children, and I share with everybody, that when I go to wake my children up, I'm like, good morning, beautiful. And I start tickling them and all of that, because children, they internalize everything.
They do. Everything. Yeah.
So I make sure that, and Kevin too, and when I tell you, honey, whichever men are going to decide to marry my girls one day, they're going to have it rough, because my girls are truly daddy's girls, and they've been treated like queens since they came out of the womb. So that's what they're accustomed to. And so Kevin even tells them, that they're beautiful, they're smart, they're, just giving words of encouragement. Yeah. And that's so important too. And so even to our clients, we let them know how beautiful they are. We let them know how important they are. But we can't do that to our clients without doing it to our children.
Absolutely.
So I want to focus more on that.
Awesome.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah. Take that 3-minute idea. I want everybody to take that 3-minute idea.
Absolutely.
That's the educator in me. Like, listen, those 3 minutes are so important. Like, you would not believe, and I'm glad you said that, not just, about your children, but I think about everybody's children who I have, the privilege of being in contact with. Like,
thank you, Lauren.
These things, hey, Lauren, these things are so powerful, even as it relates to them being in school. Right. Like, you would not believe how important those 3 minutes could be, and could change the trajectory of that child's day.
Oh, absolutely.
From the time they enter into the schools, because of course we deal with them, pretty much 6 to 8 hours a day. And, being an educator oftentimes, and then I'm a parent liaison. So that's one of the things that I do, is try to help parents understand what works well for their children in schools. Right. And so definitely take that 3-minute idea. I absolutely love that.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
And it's something to think about. And even sometimes we get so busy, and it's like, we got to run, pick up the kids, do this, do that, do this. And we forget to really sow into them and ask them, how was your day?
Absolutely.
What went on at school today? And I saw actually one of my daughter's mentors on the live, Miss Marsha Brown. And when I tell you, my daughter has been so impacted by her. And so every time, she comes home, she's like, we had our table talk today. And she tells me all what happened. And, just communication. The same way we have to communicate with our spouses, the same way we communicate with our friends, you have to communicate with your children. I don't care if you think, well, they're only 3, it don't matter. It does matter. It does matter. It definitely matters. So that's
hey,
one.
Sam.
Hey, Samuel. Praise God.
Yes.
That's one of the main ways that we make sure that our children stay in the loop and stay feeling loved, and that we don't get too overwhelmed with business, that we kind of put them on the back burner. And another thing is having an amazing village.
Yeah,
that has been, oh my Lord.
Hey, Marsha.
Yeah,
that's her mentor.
Yes.
Oh, hey, Marsha.
She's amazing. So amazing. But yeah, so making sure that you have an amazing village. I was always the type where I didn't, and this is a transparent moment, but I didn't accept help. I don't know if it was just, oh, thank you so much. Oh,
thank you, Sade. I know that makes her feel really good.
It really does. Like, y'all got me crying on here. Don't do that. But yeah, so I didn't accept help, and people would say, well, if you need a babysitter, let me know. And I'm just like, because I don't trust people with my kids, which, and I still, don't. But God has placed amazing people in our lives. And we have a close-knit village. It's about 3 or 4 people that are just truly amazing. They have wonderful godparents. They have an amazing Nanette, Kevin's grandmother, one of my sisters. Like, we are just grateful to have people that we know when we're out working. We don't have to worry about, oh, Lord, have they eaten? Do they have the right clothes? Do they, are they hurt? Any of that. Like,
Kevin.
So now.
Said she understands.
Yeah, honey. Yes, Lord. So now that I'm to a point where I'm like, you know what? Okay, Kristy, God did not place you in this world by yourself.
Right.
Like, if he wanted us to be by ourselves, then he would have not created us to be around all these amazing people.
Correct.
So that's
why. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, babe. So that's why now I have literally opened up and said, you know what? If my business is going to be successful, if my family is going to prosper, then I have to be able to accept this help. So I'm grateful to God. And I know God did it.
Amen. I love it. I like the fact, and please hear that. Hear the fact that it's okay to be selective. Because sometimes, people feel like, oh, you just don't want to accept any help, and it's from a place of pride. And it could be in some realms. But, I mean, listen, we got to be real. It's 2019, and we see stuff every day on the news about people and their children. So you definitely have to be selective about who your village, who that village is and what that looks like. But definitely make sure that you do still take that time. And that's actually where I was going for the next question. Oh, wow. As it relates to, like, how do you and Kevin, like, without, going into y'all closet. How does it, this is marriage. We're talking marriage.
You're right. You're right.
So, like, with having children and knowing how important it is to pour into them, knowing how important it is to make sure that they're in the right environment, how do you and Kevin go to that place, outside of your home, because, the children are usually there. How do you guys usually pull away and just do a woosah moment for the two of you to make sure that your marriage is healthy?
Well, as you know, we just took a vacation recently, and it was so funny because everybody kept saying, are the girls going? Are the girls going? I was like, well, no, we just took them on vacation in August. Now it's mommy and daddy time. So making sure that you are intentional about spending time together has been very, very important. Kevin and I were even acknowledging the fact that we want to still know each other once we're empty nesters. And so if we put all of our focus into Rev Kev and Lady K, all of our focus into Kirsten and Kylie, then we lose Kristy and Kevin. And that's not what we want.
That's so good.
Honey, we gonna be 90 years old laying on the beach, okay? So, like, that's the way I want it to be. And so that's why now we are very, very intentional. If that means, hey, Miss Janet, can you keep the girls for a couple hours? We running to Longhorn or, whatever, just making sure that we spend our date nights together. And scheduling is so, so, so important.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin and I both used to have problems with saying no. So if we would be in here working, say, from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m., and then somebody says, well, can I swing by real quick? It was like, oh, sure, come on. And we had to realize at a doctor's office, you can't just pop up anytime you want to.
The hours are the hours.
The hours are the hours. And we respect doctors. We respect lawyers. We respect everybody else that the hours are the hours. So with your hairstylist and makeup artist, we have to respect those hours too. And let people know, I do have a family. I do have a significant other that I have to cater to. So now that we've learned how to say no, it's been easier with, setting these hours, and then whatever we have allotted for us is what we have allotted for us.
Awesome.
And that's our time.
Well, that's good. That's again amazing jewels and nuggets. I'm learning from Kristy. I really am, because I'm a wife, but I'm not a mother yet, and so
but
just
you will be very
I shall.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm learning some amazing jewels, and I hope you guys are as well. Like I said, by all means, share this information. These are timeless jewels. Like that's what I like to call this, like timeless jewels. When people are sharing their walk. And that's what, pretty much the essence of live discussions is about. It's just pulling people together, sharing our walks, like dream living. She is literally living her dream. Yes. And pretty much that's how we're going to exit out. Like, tell us why this, is your dream versus what you might have thought was, your plans that you had in the beginning. Like, why is this life your dream?
Well, for one, I was telling Kevin the other day, when I was younger, I always wanted to be a wife and a mommy. Like, yeah, I thought I wanted to be a teacher, all that kind of stuff. But, like, my main focus was being a wife and a mommy. And I thought that I was weird. Because, you know, when you're in school, everybody's like, what do you want to be when you get older? And, of course, I would always say a teacher. But
that's what we're trained to think, right?
But in my mind, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to have a husband and kids. And so that's why I take my positions, my jobs as wife and mom so serious, because God granted me the opportunity to be a wife and a mother. That's so amazing. That's a huge dream.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so then next, the fact that God decided, he was just so amazing to me, that he decided to combine both of my passions, makeup and education, to make me a career. Like, how? Yeah. Like, really? And so that's why I know, like, literally the fact that all of this is intertwined, my background in education, my love for makeup, my love for family, is just all together, and I get to work this thing out like a champ. And it's nobody but God, and I'm grateful to him. And I just encourage everybody to live your dream. Man. Regardless of what people tell you. And no shade to anybody in my family, but I'm just going to give you another transparent moment. My family is full of educators and principals and deans and all of this kind of stuff. So, of course, I was supposed to go down the path of, you know, getting all these degrees and making sure that I was, you know, going to fall into their path as well. And so when we first started doing hair and makeup, my family was like, what y'all doing? Like, are you serious? Right. So then, when God just began to open up doors and they started seeing like, okay, this is not just hair and makeup. Right. Like, this is like something amazing. It was kind of like I'm sorry that I, you know, thought low of you guys because you wanted to do hair and makeup. Right. But the reason I was always so secure in what I knew I wanted to do, well, after me saying yes to God, but that was because I knew that it was God ordained. So if God has given you a plan and God has shown you what your purpose is, tune out everybody else, tune out your sisters, your friends, anybody that is a doubter, and literally just lean into who God is. Like, God has created you to be amazing. Walk in that. And just be amazing. Then just be amazing. The way that you know, that you feel like you need to be amazing. Right. Like, the thing that he put inside of you is so funny. I was talking to, hey, Sandra. I was talking to, it was Nada. We were just talking the other day when we had the live with her, and we were talking about like dreams and visions and doing what God, you know, called us to do. And she made a statement that just really blew me away. And it made me think about myself. She said, I believe I grew up at 37. And so you're here, and I hope you guys are hearing this. Her dream didn't necessarily happen overnight. There were steps to get Kristy to where she is right now. And I had to wake up one day because I was one of the ones that grew up in a family of either entrepreneurs or those who worked, or, you know, you were going to go to college, get a degree, get an education, and this was the path that you were going to need to take because you needed something to solidify you. So, of course, and just being transparent in the moment, I received my doctorate, and, you know, my dad and my family were like, well, what are you going to do? Like, you know, you got a degree, blah, 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 blah. And I've been in education for quite some time, but I've always felt like there was more. Wow. I've always felt like there was more to D than just being in the classroom, and not that there's anything outside. Oh, Kevin said he's so proud. There is more, you know, I love teaching and I love helping to push children to the next level. But I felt like there was so much more. Right. That I needed to offer families. Right. Because to me, teaching the children was just a quarter. Jesus. Of what I needed to do. Like, I'm only helping a quarter of the problem. I'm only meeting a quarter of the problem. And so there's so much more to helping families move forward. You can't only just help the children. You have to help the parents. You have to help the teachers. You have to help all of the parts that are playing to make this child's life, you know, where it needs to go. So I felt like, wait a minute, let me step out of this humdrum role of, you know, the monotony of education, and let me figure out what God wants to do with a D
with the doctorate, not putting myself like, oh, of course I can be a principal and of course I can do those things. And there's no knock to those jobs because someone has to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. But I don't.
Right. But that's not your purpose.
Right. That's not my purpose.
Right.
That's not what.
Okay.
Right.
And that's just like me. Like,
right.
I'm an educator. I love educating. When people come into my makeup classes, I'm just overjoyed. I told my husband, it's something that comes over me. When I stand up to teach makeup, it's like, honey, I put on... I don't even know what it is, okay? But it wasn't for me to teach in an elementary school setting. Right. And so for the longest, I felt like, oh, I just went and wasted my time at school. But then I had to realize that God is so intentional. So even the fact that I went to South Carolina State University, met my husband, go Bulldogs, go Bulldogs. I met my husband. I grew up there. Like, I literally, the woman that God wanted me to be started forming on the campus of South Carolina State University.
I gotta put a pin there. Okay. Because that's where it starts. Like, I don't care what no one says. Hold on. Let me put a quick commercial in here for South Carolina State University. You know, yes, SC State, baby.
Go
yes.
Bulldogs.
Let me put a plug because that was also a place that fortified real true purpose. Now, I'll tell anybody, and you'll hear about it later on by and by. But right. South Carolina State put me on my true purpose. Now, I got off, but I'm coming back. Okay. So, but South Carolina State University really put me on my true purpose. Wow. And look at it, SCSU. Right, and I am going to sing the praises of SC State.
Yes,
because
the praises of Alma Mater.
Listen.
Let us rally to her cause.
Listen. Come on here. Yes. So, I'm serious, like, for whatever reason, the education, the community, the people, the professors, I mean,
it's a family.
It was a real family of people who wanted to see us develop. Yep. They wanted to see us live in purpose. They wanted to see us live out all of the different dreams beyond. Hi, Geneva.
That's my cousin.
Hey, cousin. They wanted to see us live out those things beyond even what we could fathom about ourselves. So I just really had to plug that in. So, of course, and then I'm an HBCU graduate.
Yes.
And I adjunct at an HBCU.
Right.
So
HBC love,
listen,
love.
I'm going to advocate for our schools because they are they're the places that help build us. So I'm sorry, I had to plug that in because anybody who knows me know I'm an SU baby and I am a loyal daughter.
Okay. Yes. And it's so important, seriously, like to just understand that every part of your life, it wasn't time wasted. It was necessary. So even if you look back and you're like, oh my goodness, I wasted 15 years doing something that God didn't call me to do. It's okay. You learned so much. What did you learn throughout that 15 years? How did you grow and develop through the 15 years that you weren't walking in your purpose? But thank God it's never too late for him to turn it around and start walking in your purpose.
Listen, you can be 45 and it could be your point of where you realize I just grew up. And it's okay.
And it's okay.
It's really okay. There's no age on achieving your dreams, living your dreams, changing courses, getting back on track. There's no lost time. All game.
All game.
I love it. That's my sister-in-law.
Yes.
You better preach, Colin.
Yes.
Also, Sandra said she needed, like, there's no loss. You really only win, especially if you're still alive and make a difference. You really only win because you, like you said, you take those things and you say, wait a minute. You know, there is something greater that God called me to do, and yours is just not makeup. It's ministry. I love that. I love that. Tell us a little bit. You know, I know you don't have to get all deep in detail, but Lady K is about to drop a book in a few called It's Not Just Makeup, It's Ministry. Of course, she's already touched on most of that anyway.
Right.
But tell us a little bit about like what that process looked like for you right now.
Well, it was just interesting because when I first started doing makeup, I would have so many beautiful women sit in my chair. And I would say, oh my goodness, you're so beautiful. And they're like, oh no, my nose is so big. And I'm like, but you're gorgeous. Right. And then I would tell somebody else, oh my goodness, like your eyes are amazing. You think my eyes pretty? They're too big. And I'm like, you're beautiful. Okay. Right. And I realized so many.
Thank you, V.
I realized that so many women had insecurities just like me. And so sometimes when we are in a struggle, we feel like we're the only one. Right. It's like, no, nobody else is insecure about their weight. I'm just the only fat kid around here. Nobody else is insecure about their big nose. It's just me. And so I wondered, I said, well, Lord, why would you put me in a career where I have all these insecure women sitting in my chair and I'm insecure?
Come on now.
And the Lord spoke to me and said, while I'm pouring into them, healing them, he's healing me in the process.
So
and
good.
I was like, Lord?
We all have them.
Right, exactly.
Come on, Colette.
But I was just like, Lord, like, really? I couldn't believe how he even orchestrated that.
Right.
And so even talking to women and pouring into women has helped me get to another place in life that I know, like, God gets all the glory from.
That's
it.
amazing.
Seriously.
That's
because,
amazing.
I fought for the longest with just, like small things. And other people tell me, oh, Kristy, you're beautiful, you this and that. But until you get to a point where you believe it yourself.
Absolutely.
And once you start speaking about yourself the way the Father speaks about you, like you're not going to feel like you are enough.
Absolutely.
And Pastor Jackie always talks about women being enough. Like God has created us to be bad girls. Like we are,
totally.
Amazing women of God. And we have to learn to walk into that.
Just the way he made us.
Just the way he made us. And another thing is so interesting because when I go and speak to young girls, I always tell them, yes, I'm a makeup artist, but don't depend on makeup to make you feel secure.
That's so good.
And I think I'm probably one of the very few makeup artists that when a lot of times I go out in public and I don't have on makeup. And people are like, girl, you a makeup artist, why you don't wear makeup? And I'm like, well, because it took me a long time to fight to love who I was without the makeup.
Without the makeup.
So now, honey, I'm going to love myself with the makeup, without the makeup, however.
And
God
you
made
can
me.
have both. Like, you don't have to, try to make a point,
Right.
to not wear makeup because you're saying, oh, I just love the skin I'm in. Like, that's beautiful. Love the skin that you're in, but it's still okay. And we don't want to throw shade on other women who desire to do, makeup as well. Like, it's one of those things, it's an enhancer.
Right.
It's no different.
And that's just like clothes.
Right. I was
The
just thinking that.
Clothes, whatever, but you have to be careful because if something becomes a stronghold for you, that's when you have to start realizing, okay, you know what, it's time to readjust some things. But if you feel beautiful with or without makeup, the issue comes in when you feel like when you wipe your makeup off, I'm just a nobody. Like, and that's not it. Like, God created you without any makeup, and you're beautiful.
And you're beautiful. Just the way you are. And I believe that's like the essence of, everything that, we're trying to share. Like everything that God created is already good. All the dreams, all the desires, the way that we look, the way that we're shaped, and good. Micah is even giving a testimony about that. Like she remember feeling that same way that you talked about. Like so many women, and that's what we want to make sure that you guys get. So make sure you share this information, man. Yes. It's beyond what we do on the outside, but it's about our heart posture, and how we feel about ourselves. Check. Yeah, heart check. Look, it was a whole series in our ministry about that. So, and it was phenomenal because it causes you to look in the mirror and really face yourself the way, the way that you are. And then if there are some things, and it's a constant theme. If there are things in you, in your mind and your heart about yourself that are not pleasing to God because that's not what he's put there, then there's a way to change it. Absolutely. Like you don't have to stay, in displeasure with yourself. Right. Like she talked about weight. There are ways to, eat differently. Working out, exercise. If you feel like you have blemishes, there's skincare. Like you don't have to hide it behind the makeup. Like, flourish your freckles. Like if that's what you have, like flourish those because that's how you were born.
Absolutely.
You were born with those things. And so Kristy and I just come in here having a live discussion, girl chat, just to share with you guys. So I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you've taken away some amazing nuggets. I saw my husband's best friend. He was watching. So, and his birthday's today. So
happy
birthday, Tyron. So if he's still watching. So thank you guys so much. If you have any other questions or comments, of course, you can find either one of us on IG and Facebook. She's at Lady K. Give us the number. 129. And I'm at Dr. D Unlimited on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And of course, I have a website as well, www.drdunlimited.com. Make sure you check it out. I'm pretty certain there's some services out there that I can assist you with, okay? Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, pass this message because, it's Women's History Month, but everybody can utilize this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, makeup only enhanced beautiful is not very good. See that?
Good.
A man.
That's right.
I love it. I love
That
it when
is
the men
good.
come in and
Yes.
comment
That is good.
on what's being said. Thank you so much, Lawrence. Definitely pass a message to all the young women and young ladies that you know. It's definitely share. I mean, these are timeless nuggets, timeless jewels. Love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in to another live discussions with Dr. D. Thank you, Lady K, for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Such a
I appreciate
pleasure.
it. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful evening, Geneva. Oh, you're welcome, darling. Thank you for viewing. And make sure, of course, you pass the message along. All right, you guys have a wonderful Monday evening, and we'll chat with you later. Bye-bye.